We're shifting markets right now. You have real-time data as to what the conversations are that are people seeing. What would be one of the trends of the last month's worth of calls be?
Timing and pricing objections, which are as old as time, by the way. If you've been in the industry for enough time, you've been through buyer cycle, seller cycle, you understand that the objections change depending on what cycle you're in. Right now, we're in obviously kind of an affordability pickle that we've got going on right now. Like rates are, yes, under historic lows, but homes are super freaking expensive and prices aren't softening as fast as people would like, and rates aren't dropping either. So a lot of those conversations end up showing up around timing.
So today we're here with Justin Benson, the founder of Shiloh, one of the most up-and-coming tech products out there. We're gonna have a bartender conversation today.
I'm here for it.
Although we're drinking our waters, we're gonna have a candid bartender conversation.
Cheers. So you don't even have water.
No, I'm polishing the glasses.
That's right.
I want it to be
a better visual.
It's got to be crystal clear today, these conversations.
Yeah. When you say founder, man, the way you say it just feels way more official than I feel. So
I mean,
thanks for having me.
It is official. So with that, founder of Shiloh.
Yeah.
And I think the world of your company. Give me a little insight. Where were you before, and how did Shiloh come into existence?
So you ready for this?
Back to the Christian band, and then
no, it's before that, actually. Biochem major, dropped out of school, started a tech company, sold that, started another tech company, sold that. The day that I sold that one was the day that an old friend of mine, John Glutch, called out of the blue, and he was like, "Hey man, I know you're building that software company for elementary schools, but ever think about starting a real estate company?" Never in my life. So that was, all of us get into real estate sort of by accident, right? That was my by accident. His daughter is my goddaughter, so I just kind of said yes, because I was supposed to take the month off, get married, and then come back from the honeymoon and just sort out what I was going to be all over again afterwards. But instead, I went and got a real estate license, and we sold that. We built that into 3 states on a lot of houses. And then the band story that you just said, the only reason I left that after building that organization with John was because me and some friends got signed to a record label. And that was fun, man. 2 years of my life getting to travel around with some of my best friends and sing songs and see the nation, really freaking cool. Because I came from technology, I didn't know any better when I got into real estate, right? So I did what we did in tech, which was when technology didn't exist, well, we built it. And if we needed internal tools and integrations, and we shaped the technology to the way that we operated as an organization in the tech industry. So I just did that in real estate, thinking this entire time that everybody did that. And I guess I lived under a rock and realized after the fact that that was not the case. So we started this thing called Bara Agency, which is a fractional chief technology officer company. Still exists today, it's doing incredible, love all of our clients. But as the company that has been building the custom software and integrations and all of that good stuff for the past going on 6 years for a lot of really big teams. People can look it up. It feels like name droppy to say it, but there's lots of very big names that we know about that we've been building technology for. And the Shiloh thing came about because of a need that happened inside of Bara Agency. So our client, Levi Rogers, came to us. He's 300 person teamerage out in San Antonio. He showed up in 2 years ago, and he goes, "Hey dude, I can't figure out how to scale this phone call training portion of my business. Can you guys take care of that somehow?" And we're, welcome to Bara Agency, super used to getting ambiguous call of, "Can you solve this problem for us?" So we used the very first AI model that was ever published by OpenAI to accomplish that task. It was called Da Vinci, before it was called GPT, all of that good stuff. And we had built this little prototype that was attached to his Follow Up Boss. It was listening to all the calls, grading, coaching, and dispositioning. It was really awesome. Just thought great, another cool thing that Bara Agency's built for another big team. But over that 6-month span of watching him use it, his sales managers went from managing 30 agents apiece to 60 agents apiece. And that was a huge kind of gain in efficiency there. And then his call volume increased by 70% and his appointment set rate increased by 91%. And that's really what got us okay, we should investigate what's going on here. And that was the birth of Shiloh. We realized that utilizing AI to train and gamify conversations and appointments and the things that we're doing day to day as real estate agents, that there was something special about that. Because at the top of the funnel, I don't know, you'd quantify quantity of conversations. Like, all right, guys, let's all get in a room and make 100 calls. I mean, you've been a part of those call nights, it's like a slog to get through. We got pizza and like try to keep the morale high while we're doing it, but it's still like a chore. So instead, now you can go, all right, guys, whoever gets the most 5-star calls in the next 30 minutes as we make these calls is going to get that $1,000 check that I had pinned to the wall behind me. And we can gamify each and every single call, and we really care about it now. And we realized that that was a lot of the magic that we were doing, and that was what was predicated what now became Shiloh. So welcome to my super eclectic past.
There you go. But you also ran a team.
Yes.
And came from production, which when I look at some of my favorite tech companies out there that service real estate, specifically like the brokerage or the agent, the founders came from real estate. So they were solving for a problem or a thesis that like they had experienced.
Yeah.
And that is so much different than a founder that is solving for a problem that they made up in their head.
Yeah, or that seems like it'll make a lot of money or something.
Well, and that's where I think you really get the adoption right. Yeah. You create something that people that have been in your situation have. Right? I've had 2 brokerages, and one of them was very call heavy. And I didn't come from the prospecting, the cold calling. And so I see the value of what you guys have created to be able to coach with that and how it can actually have an impact on the agents and the customers that they deal with. And that is what makes good tech so powerful. So I commend you with that.
Thanks, man. It's been fun. It's a little superpower of ours is that we kind of instinctually, even a lot of the organization is composed of people that are real estate people, right? So we have a lot of instincts that seem to be right on what people are looking for because we've been in the trenches being the stressed out real estate agent, typing an offer on my way to my next showing while on the phone with a new lead and hoping I don't die or have a panic attack before I get there. So
I don't even know how to answer the typing while driving, while talking, component.
Am I not supposed to say that on camera?
I mean, hey, it's the honest bartender conversation, and it does happen.
No, right? Anybody that says that they have not done that as a real estate agent has to be lying to you.
They are lying, but we all say we're top producers also. So.
Yes, yeah.
So what was the biggest aha moment that led to founding Shiloh?
There's a couple things here. So we saw Levi's call volume increase by a significant amount. And we're like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if us having star ratings for all the calls and kind of brief coaching, what those models were used to, capable of back then, which is basically nothing. I wonder if there's any correlation between the call volume increase and that increase in appointment set and that call rating system. So we did a bunch of research to figure that out. And during that research, we found out that his agents were logging into the prototype twice as much as his sales managers were. And that's honestly what got me to understand that we had something on our hands. Because as a previous team leader, and then honestly building software for all of these big tech companies that exist real estate companies that exist in this space, getting agent adoption is one of the hardest things, right? Everybody builds these tools that's it's for the team leader, it's for the broker owner, and then they shove it down their agents' throats trying to force them, make them fear to adopt the tool that they want to use, right? But we stumbled upon the fact that the agents organically wanted to use the tool. And we knew that that was really, really special. And honestly, that was the core motivating factor that I recognized that this is worth probably experimenting and building past prototype to see what this could become.
And the agents were adopting it because it was actually helping them with their business.
Yeah, exactly. We have so many cool case studies of people saying I was a brand new agent, I was struggling on the phone, I started listening to Shiloh's feedback, and all of a sudden I set my first appointment, right? It's so fun to be able to see that stuff from kind of time and time again, because it's not generic, whatever call coaching. It's so bespoke to the individual human being, especially as they continue to make more calls.
So you've brought into Shiloh 50,000, 100,000, probably more calls than that you guys have analyzed to create best practices. And essentially grade and coach the agents outside of their conversations.
Right.
So it's not just the gamification or fun for the agents to see if I can get 5 stars.
Yeah.
It's what can I learn based on all of these other conversations.
Right, and it's millions of calls actually. I mean, Shiloh was originally trained on millions of hours of calls in the first place to get it to understand the intricacies of how to be a really great agent on the phone. But it's also not just telling you the things that you need to improve on, it's also telling you the things that you're really great at as well. to reinforce the things that we're innately good at as our personality styles, our communication styles, and then also like what our weaknesses could be, because like the way that you communicate and your personality style is different than mine. And as a expert salesperson, I have to really know what mine is and then understand how to translate that in a way that communicates correctly to you, right? So Shiloh is a really great tool to help you understand how to do that.
So where do you see the biggest like coachability for an agent? Like they go through and they're listening to their calls. What's like the most common mistake that you see?
Setting clear next steps. That's one of Shiloh's like cornerstones of its grading system, is keeping sales momentum moving forward by setting a dedicated, like a committed next step, right? So what Shiloh doesn't want you to say is, let's pretend that you're a first-time home buyer, just talked to you on the phone for the first time. And I said, all right, Troy, I'm gonna send you all these homes here in like, it's just a second. And why don't we just follow up next week and find a really good time to look at a few? Shiloh, those open-ended follow-ups are not conducive, but as a newer agent, a lot of the times, and even experienced agents, you feel like you're gonna be pushy by trying to get to the next step, but that's just not actually true. What instead you should say, and Shiloh gives you coaching with replacement phrases to demonstrate how you can do this. It'll say, hey Justin, what you should have said was, hey Troy, I just sent you all these listings right now, and I'm pretty wide open today and tomorrow. Why don't we just get a time on the calendar now to go see your top 2 or 3 homes? That's really our best next step. So that ability to anchor the next step to something committed is something that shows up reoccurring over and over and over again across all of the teams.
So based on the conversations that you see agents having right now, like what's the biggest trend of conversations?
Biggest trend of conversations? You mean like objections from the consumer side or like trend from the agent side?
I think trend on the consumer side. Like we're shifting markets right now. Like you have real-time data as to what the conversations are that are people seeing. Like what would be one of the trends of like, the last month's worth of calls be?
Timing and pricing objections, which are as old as time, by the way. If you've been in the industry for enough time, you've been through buyer cycle, seller cycle, you understand that the objections change depending on what cycle you're in. Right now, we're in obviously kind of an affordability pickle that we've got going on right now. Like rates are, yes, under historic lows, but homes are super freaking expensive and prices aren't softening as fast as people would like, and rates aren't dropping either. So a lot of those conversations end up showing up around timing. Hey, should I wait? Like I'm just not gonna buy, like prices are really high right now or rates really high. I'm just gonna keep renting, right? But we know that if you backwards compute the math and show the comparison between renting versus owning, and even this current market, I will caveat this with there are some geographic areas in the United States where it actually might make more sense for them to keep renting right now. But in the majority of them, you can do the math to show, oh, it actually doesn't make more sense, because even if that rate's higher, even if the price is a little bit higher, the money that they make back in equity and being able to refi down the road is still worth exploring the option there. So helping people overcome their fear that they're making a bad financial decision is the one kind of thing that keeps showing up as either timing or price objections inside of Shiloh.
So helping the consumer truly understand what the true cost of the homeownership is.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want to be jerks and convince people to do things that are not in their best interests ultimately, right? But if somebody has a dream of owning a home, there's a path to it. And I think it's our job as real estate agents to explain what that path looks like in that scenario, and then let people make the decision. We're the guide on this journey. We're not the hero. We're the ones, we are the Gandalfs, we're the Yodas. We're not the Luke Skywalker. Sorry, I'm a nerd, so I just made so many nerd references just there. Anyways, we're the ones that are helping somebody through their journey, through their wants, through their desires, right? So the best thing that we can do is lay out the options for them and then make sure that the timing is correct, make sure that they're thinking correctly through it.
So in analyzing all these conversations, like what's the biggest, top 3 takeaways that you've learned from top producing agents and how they handle their conversations that you guys might not have known prior to Shiloh?
People don't know their conversation styles. They don't know their personality type and conversation styles. So a common thing that we like to do is just make sure that people understand what their DISC assessment is, right? So that's super helpful to understand, okay, DISC is a very quick way for me to understand, like, these are my common traits. I'm a high DI, which means I'm going to talk faster than somebody that is an SC, which is more conscientious to detail and stability, right? So I can't approach somebody that's an SC the same way that I would approach myself as a DI. I'm going to make that person feel like, oh my gosh, he's just bulldozing my ideas. He's walking he's way too far in front of me. I need to learn how to slow down, cover the details without losing myself in the process, right? That's like the one core thing that we see over and over again with these sales teams, is that there's not any awareness of who they are first, to understand what their tendencies are with their personalities and communication styles, and then further training, okay, now how do I best serve my clients and potential leads, knowing what I know now, and how do I identify the best way to communicate to them as well?
So if I'm running a team, or I have a brokerage and I have agents that are prospecting, cold calling, or just working the inbound, working the phone, right? Because that's really what you guys specialize in.
Yeah.
How do I use that as a team leader, as a broker owner, to coach up my agents?
That's a good question. The most common way that people are using it is that our call grade system, the kind of the core metric in there, 1 to 5 stars, is a very, very good indicator on conversion further on down the funnel, essentially. So what they're doing from the kind of the team leader, broker owner, sales manager perspective is that they're baking in that as a fun activity to accomplish in sales meetings. They're creating competitions around it. On one-on-ones, they're creating accountability to it, because we know that we can trust it to make really great agents, essentially, right? Outside of that, there's a lot of really fun features, like you can role play inside of Shiloh. And what's really cool is our way of role playing is not a stagnant bot that you call and it's mirroring a situation, like a Realtor.com lead, or a sign call, or a Zillow Flex connection, or something like that. Because the problem with that is that once you call that one bot enough times, you understand what it's looking for and you can game it. Now you're not becoming a good salesperson, you're just memorizing what the thing is looking for, right? Instead, what Shiloh does is it takes your previous live calls, ingests them, the tonality, the objections, everything that happened on that call, and it lets you try that conversation again to see if you can improve with the call coaching. Now that experience is very bespoke to the things that you struggle with as an agent, opposed to this generalized kind of feedback, right? And what's fun is that we can run competitions around that stuff, like, all right, everybody, whoever can role play and turn the most 3-star calls into 5-star calls will also get a reward, right? So now you can incentivize so many areas of this sharpening the saw for sales training that wasn't previously capable to gamify ultimately. And that makes it fun to make phone calls and just get better, not just on the phone, but this is obviously pervasive. It goes further than the phone. If I learn how to communicate correctly on the phone, I'll learn how to communicate better in person, right? So the skill set rolls with the agent from the phone forward through their interaction to
it comes into every aspect.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
Your interaction with other agents, your face-to-face at open houses, the door knocking, the prospecting, diffusion of issues. I mean, it really is. It's a communication course.
Yeah.
As much it is, a coaching platform.
But bespoke to you and your tendencies and the things that you really need to improve on.
Because I think one of the things that they talk about mirroring. Tone, mirroring, appearance.
It's another one of Shiloh's grading categories.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things that it is hard to do. To be able to mirror a conversation or the speed or the tone, of a DI, or I don't even know what I qualify in a DISC assessment. It is hard to really categorize that and look at it and practice it versus, hey, let's sit down and role play today.
Yeah.
Or, well, you're going to talk one way, I'm going to talk another. I'm not wired to talk another way and have a different conversation. So the ability to go and have the conversation again and again, I think is amazing sales training for people. I used to go into open houses with agents, and I'd go and hang out and then hear, how did you greet this client? Why didn't you have the ability to get them to sign in on the sign-in sheet? And would coach them through that afterwards. And it's not like there's a piece of technology out there that's going to do it. I spent the time with agents because I knew it was going to impact their lives today,
totally,
and tomorrow, which I think is is really important. Like, and it's one of those things that even with, conversations like this or other stuff, how can I provide people value today that can change their lives tomorrow?
Right.
So with that, like, what's one piece of advice to like an agent that's out there prospecting or having conversations with the phone or getting the Zillow leads? What's that one solid piece of advice that you give them to say, this is something you can implement today that will change your life tomorrow?
There's this old Mary Kay, I think it was Mary Kay, that said, treat everybody as if they have a sign around their neck that says, make me feel like the most important person in the world. There's a core to that is very, very important in sales. You have to genuinely want to care and help the other human in order to, that's the whole premise of like how to win friends and influence people. Such a clickbaity title before clickbait was even popular, basically. And then you open up that book and it's all about actually caring for other humans. That's really the premise of it. That is really interesting, where it starts from a base and a foundation there. So I guess get there first. The second thing, if I were to ask everybody that's listening to do one thing that would change their careers, is if you haven't already done it, go do a deep dive on what DISC is. DISC isn't the only personality assessment out there. I'm not paid by DISC, or I don't even know who owns it or whatever. It's just such a really easy, light framework to first know yourself, like know what your tendencies are, what you are going to say, what you do under stress. Know yourself first. And then from there, start to understand what other people look like with the same assessment. And that will greatly improve the way that you communicate to your clients, to your kids, to your spouse, to the people that you manage, your ability to coach and lead people. That core skill of understanding how to communicate correctly to the other human being that you're sitting across from is pervasive, not just in Shiloh, but it's through phone calls, but obviously through your entire life, right? So that's the one tip that I'd give everybody.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
So last question, where do you see Shiloh in the next 12 months?
12 months. We're building Jarvis, man. We're building Jarvis, Iron Man's robot, but we're building it for real estate agents, right? So Shiloh is going to very quickly become this incredible assistant sales manager, sales coach that executes on your behalf, right? So there's so much of this busy work, monotonous stuff, keeping up your CRM, setting appointments, doing all this stuff that like bogs us down day to day as salespeople. And then honestly, most salespeople just like don't want to do it. The real estate agents don't want to do it because it's boring. They'd rather just go write the offer instead of like updating the CRM. Problem with that is that when you update the CRM and keep that up to date, it increases your ability to market and then keeps the funnel going, right? And then the funnel falls apart, really. So there's this like stacking thing. Shiloh will be taking care of all of those manual things that bog you down to free you up to get back to the human side of that. And that is our mission as a company. It's our, I don't even know if we have a vision statement, to be honest, but our mission is to get humans back to the human side of real estate. That is this face-to-face, building relationships, caring, helping people through a transition in their life, and then let the robots do the robot side, right? So.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time today.
Dude, yeah.
Hope I was a good bartender.
You're a great bartender. Probably, yeah, this could be your career. Honestly, people that are good at interviewing make good bartenders anyways, so.
I mean, hey, everybody wants to tell the secrets to the bartender.
That's true.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you as well.